All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for another Music Monday. I'm your host, Plymouth Jones. And today's guest,
Justin Fedor.
What's going on, everybody? Plymouth Jones here from ScrewUp TV, and it's time for another episode of Music Monday. Alrighty, today we have the one, the only,
Justin Fedor.
Justin Fedor. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing all right, hanging in there, man. Just loving life, you know. This is filmed in January, so it's a brand new year. You know, feeling good about life. How you feeling, man?
I haven't made it to the gym yet, so I'm a little slow on the resolutions, but
okay.
I'm doing all right.
Year
Otherwise.
doesn't actually start to that first time you get there. Then you can.
The Lunar New Year is, I think, next weekend.
There you go. Let's count that. Welcome, man. So you have Ukrainian roots, apparently, right?
That's right.
Is your family? Is there a lot of Ukrainian music that you maybe grew up listening to at all? Or?
No. My great-grandparents were Ukrainian, but you know, my closest ties to Europe are my mother's side. My grandfather is Portuguese.
Okay.
So you know, I come from a pretty mixed family. It's all over the place. In fact, my oldest brother, he's adopted, and he's a black, my brother. So he's
awesome.
that throws people for a curve when they see our family photo. It's a couple of redheads and a black guy. It's people. Yeah.
Where'd you guys grow up at?
In Greensboro.
Nice.
So we grew up, you know, around the corner from the Woolworths where they sat in, and there was a big civil rights movement there. So my family. When my dad came home from Vietnam, he was told he wasn't a hero, so he moved to the South and adopted a black son, and decided to put up a fight. So, oh yeah, yeah, you know. So it's he definitely blazed a trail to follow.
That's
for sure.
awesome, man. That's awesome. So, and you grew up. How was that, man? How was that growing up in the family? You know, how many siblings do you have?
I have 2 older brothers and a sister, younger sister.
Okay, so. With the 5 of you guys, how was that? All you guys growing up, you know, with the oldest one being black.
It was different. I mean, you know, I remember. I don't remember vividly, but in the '80s, we lived in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. We actually literally had crosses burned in our yard. Wow. You know, and we were asked not to come back to a church at one point because they didn't believe in mixed race. When my parents adopted my brother in the '70s. North Carolina was actually county by county on whether or not mixed races were allowed to adopt children. So at that point, we weren't even progressive enough in the nation to allow mixed race families. And so my parents had to fight hard actually to adopt my brother, and were visited quite often by civil services, to the point where my mother tells stories about how she wept at the social workers' feet, begging them not to take my brother away, stuff like that. I mean, it was, and we take a lot of things for granted, and now and these days and age, but there was a long struggle to get just to where we are. It's still a big struggle, and I think a lot of people forget that because of just where we are in the modern era.
Yeah, man, and I mean, honestly, like 70s and 80s, it wasn't even that long ago.
No,
you know?
no.
People kind of tend to distance themselves from anything that they can't instantly remember, and wow, that's okay. Well, so growing up in North Carolina, in that situation, what was the household like? Was it like a musical household where
I'm actually the only musician.
Okay.
Yeah, the only one. You know, we came from a family of athletes. My brothers were both really great soccer players, and I was all right. But you know, my sister tried her hand at piano, and unfortunately, it didn't have much dexterity.
Right.
And so I bought my first guitar when I was in middle school. My father believed in hard work, so I wanted him to buy me a guitar, and he showed me where I could get a job and earn my first guitar. And for me, that was awesome because that that I knew that I wanted to play music, and I knew that that was something that was going to be in my life forever. And you know, from middle school to now, you know, I'm in my 40s, so I'm still playing, still doing it.
Man, well then, what was that like for you, man? Being the only one in the house, being a musician, was that? Did you feel like you kind of had your thing, or?
Yeah, it was great. You know, if you've, I don't know if you have any older brothers, do you? Oh, okay. So you probably handed out a fair good amount of beatings yourself, didn't you? You taught your youngers a couple of lessons. Well, I received several lessons being the youngest brother, and so that was like it was my escape. That was the one thing that I could do where no one else was involved with me, and I didn't have to sequester any opinions. I didn't have to listen to anybody's rules. I did my thing. So that's where I escaped from a lot of, you know, older brothers, sibling rivalries, we shall say.
How did they see it when you were playing music?
They love it. They're still supportive. You know, my brothers still come out to my shows. My sister, she lives up in Boston, and when I was out on tour, she showed up at the show in New Hampshire, and you know, my family's big supporters of what I do. They just can't play any music.
Right, yeah,
They just play it on their CD player.
So growing up, man, once you realized, okay, this is what I want to do, man. You know, you kind of felt that connection with that guitar, man. What was it like? Like, when did you decide? Okay, I want to start making my own music. Was that still in school? Were you like writing songs back then, or?
Yeah, it was. I think like college age. I guess it was my early 20s was when I really wanted to get back out and perform, and I started penning my own songs, started writing my own stuff, and that felt great. But then I put that down to try to pursue, you know, like a proper career. And that got really boring, and so I walked away from that and came back. I moved out to Arizona. I lived out west for a little while, and when I came back to North Carolina, I settled in Charlotte. And Charlotte's where I started the New Familiars and started touring heavily, and spent, you know, a good almost 10 years with that band, traveling hard, playing almost 200 shows a year, doing stuff all the way out to the Rockies and back. And now that I'm, I guess at this ripe old age, it's to the point where I can steal my good moments, and I have several projects that I work with, from Christian to Ancient Cities to my own band, the Denim. So I'm fortunate in that regard. You know, Charlotte's been good to me. Yeah, it's definitely made it easy for me to stay with music, which is fortunate.
That's good, man. The New Familiars, was that your first band, or was that?
My first serious band, I would think. You know, my college band, None the Wiser, was out of Greensboro, and we did a little bit of traveling. But the New Familiars, you know, we got to do a lot of great things. A lot of artistic fulfillment came out of that group, from, you know, recording a Smokey Robinson tune and being able to hand it to him and have a one-on-one at South by Southwest together. You know, that was like that stuff that like dreams are made out of. And then we also got to play the DNC in 2012 and help with Obama winning in that year. And that's even perpetuated to, I opened for Bernie Sanders twice last year, and really hoping that he gets the nomination and we move forward with a winning ticket in the Democratic Party.
Yeah, man, that's interesting. So, like, how did you keep finding yourself in those positions? And when you found yourself in those positions, what was it like? Like how, like you're playing at DNC, you know, it's a big deal, you know, like.
I think, you know, at the end of the day, it's about being, you know, not only knowing your craft and working hard at your craft, like all those things aside, you know, there is a bit of like, I work hard at playing music, and I try to surround myself with other people that work hard at music so that my band has the same sort of energy about playing music that I do. But then beyond that, you have to be good to the people around you, and you have to exude good energy. And so, you know, being staying in positive movements and trying to stay progressive here in the United States and trying to listen to people in need, trying to write music for people that have emotion. And like I don't write music for children, like I don't write pop music. I write Americana songs about normal people going through normal problems and feeling the depth of emotion within that. And so, I try to carry that with me in my conversations with people when I'm meeting people off of the stage, when we're standing there having a beer at the bar or staying at the merch table or wherever I am. I want to connect with people. That was the whole point of starting to play music in the first place. Music's communication, and so I like to communicate with people. I like to have conversations. So I think that's what's brought me to being able to have the opportunities that have come my way. It is not only working hard and surrounding yourself with talented people, but be good to people, especially be good to the people you meet on the way up, because they're certainly going to be the same people you meet on the way down.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to burn any bridges.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So going based on kind of what you were talking about as far as your music being a reflection on real people and real events and real life. Does it take an event to inspire a song, or does each song have their own story to it, or?
Yeah, sometimes I steal from different things. So it definitely does take me needing to feel some sort of attachment to the song and have some sort of drive and want to complete it. So the song that we're going to record for the session actually based off of a John Wayne film that was my grandfather's favorite film and also my father's favorite film. It's called Quiet Man. And John Wayne, he moves to, he's a boxer that kills someone in the ring and moves to Ireland to pursue a peaceful way of life. Yeah. But I've also taken from my own life, for song's sake. Okay. And then I've even written just complete fiction. I think experimenting with songwriting is what keeps songwriting new. Yeah. I like to borrow from George Harrison's philosophy. That's about the only consistency that I have is I try to write in the morning. Because writing in the morning, you're as close to your subconscious as you'll be all day. You're not cluttered with, oh God, have I paid the bills, or did I walk the dog, or any of those sorts of things. First thing in the morning, cup of coffee, the guitar, nice quiet morning to myself. I get a lot of songs written in that time of the day.
That's awesome. What's this year looking like for you? It's New Year. You have shows coming out, projects dropping. What's 2020 look for you, sir?
It's staying busy. We're already confirmed for the Bristol Rhythm and Roots. That's going to be in the fall. We've got the Grover Fest is another festival we'll be playing this summer. We'll have a slew of dates we'll be announcing around Charlotte. I can't announce certain things because they haven't been announced by the venues yet, but you'll definitely see us in March, and you'll also see us in Charlotte in August. Otherwise, I'm recording a new album with the Denim Denim. We're working with Christian. He's the former lead singer of the band Live. He lives here in Charlotte, and I play in his band as a bass player. So he's been working with my band to record in the studio and get some stuff done. And then Ancient Cities is going to stay as busy as ever. It's my psychedelic rock band that I play bass in as well. So
how many bands are you in, man?
I'm in 3 bands right now, but I'm looking to pick up a couple more.
That's okay. As long as you can fit them, man, that's awesome, man. And as long as you find different creative outlets, man, to get different area of creativity out there, that's awesome, man. How many instruments do you play?
Well, if it's got strings and frets, I can figure it out, I'm pretty sure. And I can do some fretless things. I play upright as well. But mandolin's probably my strongest instrument, but guitar's what I write on. Guitar, yeah. I think the biggest thing that I'll do in 2020 will be June 27th will be the next tribute to benefit Levine Children's Hospital. It's a concert series that I've been running for the last 7 years at the Neighborhood Theater. A buddy of mine's son died from heart complications after he was born. And I had a handful of friends whose children fought different complications and either survived or didn't. And the worst part in all of those situations was feeling like there wasn't anything I could do about it. And so about 7 years ago, I did the first concert. It was right after Ray Manzarek from The Doors passed away. And I got a dozen Charlotte bands together, and we all played a tribute to The Doors. And we gave all the money to the Children's Hospital. And that just went so well that we just kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. And here we are 7 years later, nearly $70,000 later. And it's a labor of love, and we'll be back June 27th at the Neighborhood Theater.
Thank you for that, man. That's huge. I mean, as artists, I mean, one thing that we can always do is give back to the community. You know,
yeah.
Whether it's through our art or through any influence that we might have, but just finding different ways to give back. All art, in my opinion, most art in general is healing. You know what I mean? And if people go to art to feel good about themselves, and especially if you can couple that with you know, a mission that's in line with, you know, bringing good or helping somebody out, that's awesome, and thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's important. It's our civic duty, I think, to get involved in our communities, and like, we as artists can't always ask our community to take care of us. We need to also look to our communities and tell them we're here to take care of you as well.
I agree, man. That's beautiful. Yes, man. It's been great meeting you, man. You're an awesome soul. Where can the good people in the world find you?
My name's Justin Fedor. That's Fedor. You'll be able to find that on Spotify by the time this rolls out. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I'm not on Snapchat. I'm sorry, but
right. It's like a cutoff for Snapchat.
you know, it's like it's too much salt and pepper on the beard for that.
I miss the cutoff too. A little bit. I was like, I'm just not for me. So, as always, guys, you guys can find me at Plymouth Jones at ScrewUp TV. Make sure you stay tuned to at the end of the clip. You will hear a small sample of the song, and make sure you stay tuned to Light and Song on Friday at noon to watch the full video. Justin, you're the man. Anything else you want to say to the good people out there in the world?
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, guys. That's all we have for you guys today. And until next time, we are out of here. My man.
Thank
Good
you.
stuff, brother.
White man, simple needs. Take my water with my water and my whiskey with my whiskey. I don't trouble, no trouble till the trouble troubles me. White man, simple needs. Wild Irish rose, you are a dream.